When everything being equal, sometime it is more challenge than getting 10 crowns. To get advantage in challenge mode, it is good to know the trend of commonly used decks, so we could counter. After October update, there are more Swarm, Cycle decks, and less Elixir Collector, Sparky decks. For this deck, we have Bowler and Arrows to handle Swarm decks. With Lightning, we should able to deal with medium-size units such as Ice Wizard, Musketeer and Mega Minion. And Tombstone to deal with Hog Rider and Prince. We are able to get 12 wins with this deck. Let me show you how this can be done. Deploy Giant at the back. Deploy Musketeer to support the push. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Deploy Bowler for defense. Deploy Mega Minion at the back for Cycle. Arrows the Minion Horde. Deploy Musketeer at the middle to shoot the Hog Rider. Deploy Giant for tank. Since he has Hog Rider, we will make sure we have Tombstone ready. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Deploy Mega Minion for Mini P.E.K.K.A. Deploy Bowler at the back. Deploy Musketeer to support the push. Perfect time for Lightning. Lightning his tower, Furnace and Musketeer. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Deploy Mega Minion for Hog Rider and Mini P.E.K.K.A. Deploy Giant in the middle to tank the attack. Deploy Bowler to join the push. Arrows the Minion Horde. Deploy Musketeer for defense. Even if he finished our tower with Lightning, we should able to win this battle, since he has nothing much to stop our Bowler. Deploy Giant at the back. Deploy Bowler for Giant Bowler push. Deploy Tombstone to support the push. He deployed Minion Horde. We must waste our zap for our arrow. Arrows the Minion Horde. He has an interesting deck, Hog Cycle deck with Elixir Collector. We will continue to deploy Giant Bowler push, since he has only Minion Horde to stop us. Deploy Giant for slow push. Since we have test Tombstone, deploy Bowler for Hog Rider. Deploy Tombstone to pull the minion horde. Zap the minion horde. We made a mistake. Should arrow the skeletons. Deploy Mega Minion for Hog Rider. Good job for him, all because we haven't have Tombstone in the right time, and make mistake with the arrow. Deploy Giant for slow push. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Deploy Bowler for Giant Bowler push. Deploy Musketeer for minion. Zap the skeletons. Deploy Mega Minion for Hog Rider. Deploy Giant for Bowler Giant push. Arrows the minion horde. Deploy Musketeer to support the push. This deck has nothing to deal with Elixir Collector, therefore, he does have a little advantage. However, we should rarely see Elixir Collector again. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Perfect time for lightning. Lightning his tower, Princess and Ice Wizard. He should be a cycle deck. Cycle deck usually has Miner or Hog Rider. We will make sure we can defend for both. Deploy Giant for tank. Deploy Bowler for Giant Bowler push. Deploy Musketeer to support the push. Deploy Tombstone to pull the Hog Rider. We failed to pull him. Deploy Mega Minion to finish him off. Since he has rocket, we will not deploy troops at the back. Deploy Giant and Bowler for Giant Bowler push. Deploy Musketeer to support the push. Zap the skeletons. Deploy Mega Minion for Mega Minion. Deploy Giant for tank. Arrow the Princess. Deploy Bowler for Giant Bowler push. Deploy Musketeer to support the push. Deploy Tombstone to pull the Hog Rider. Too late. Deploy Giant. Deploy Mega Minion to join the push. Arrow the Princess. Deploy Bowler for Giant Bowler push. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Zap the tower. Although it seems a close game, but was because we couldn't use Tombstone to stop his Hog Rider. This game should not be a close game at all. lightening his tower and furnace. Zap the goblin. Deploy bowler for miner. Deploy mega minion for minions. Deploy tombstone for defense. Deploy musketeer for defense. He is using miner cycle deck. We will seek in his deck fast enough to stop our push. Deploy giant. Deploy bowler for giant bowler push. Arrow the minions and furnace. Deploy tombstone for defense. Deploy musketeer to support the push. Deploy giant. Zap the goblin. Arrow the minions. Deploy bowler for giant bowler push. Lightning his tower and furnace. Deploy musketeer to support the push. Zap the goblin. Deploy mega minion for miner. Deploy giant in the middle to tank the attack. Deploy bowler for defense. Arrow the goblins. His deck may win by surprise with rocket and miner. But overall, his deck has no compete against our arrow and bowler. Deploy tombstone for defense. He deployed hog rider at the back. Deploy bowler at the back to counter him. Deploy mega minion for hog rider. Deploy giant for bowler giant push. Zap the skeletons. Thank you for laughing. Deploy tombstone for defense. Thank you for laughing. Deploy bowler at the back. Arrow the princess. Deploy giant for bowler giant push. Deploy musketeer for mega minion. Deploy tombstone to pull the hog rider. Deploy bowler at the back. Perfect time for lightning. Lightning the tower, princess and mega minion. Deploy mega minion for hog rider. Deploy giant in the middle for tank. Deploy musketeer to support the push. Arrow the princess. Deploy tombstone to pull the hog rider. Deploy bowler for princess. Deploy giant in the middle for tank. Deploy musketeer to support the push. Deploy tombstone to pull the hog rider. Arrows the skeletons. Deploy bowler for princess. Deploy musketeer for defense. Lightning the ice wizard and mega minion. Deploy giant in the middle for tank. Arrow the princess. Deploy bowler for defense. Deploy mega minion for hog rider. Deploy musketeer to support the push. Deploy giant in the middle for tank. Lightning the ice wizard, mega minion and tower. Arrow his tower and zap it. Since we have two medium troops, musketeer and mega minion, sometime, it is not easy to deal with lightning. However, this is another hog cycle, we should able to win it. We don't like musketeer, let lightning it first. Deploy musketeer for giant. Deploy mega minion for giant. Deploy giant for tank with musketeer. Arrows the skeletons. Deploy tombstone for defense. Deploy bowler for defense. Lightning the tower, musketeer and baby dragon. We missed the baby dragon. Deploy musketeer for defense. Deploy giant for tank, and we missed. Zap the skeletons. Deploy bowler to join the push. Deploy tombstone for defense. Deploy musketeer for defense. Lightning Musketeer and Bomber. Deploy Giant for tank. Deploy Bowler for giant bowler push. Arrows the skeletons. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Giant alone is no deal with Tombstone and Bowler. Deploy Bowler at the back. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Deploy Musketeer for defense. Deploy Mega Minion for graveyard. Deploy Giant for bowler giant push. Arrow the princess. Deploy Bowler for defense. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Deploy Musketeer for Mega Minion. Deploy Giant in the middle for tank. Deploy Mega Minion to join the push. Deploy Bowler to join the push. Arrow the princess. We cannot do much with the golem. We will try to protect the other tower. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Deploy Musketeer at the back to kill the skeleton. Deploy Mega Minion for golem. Deploy Bowler for golem. Deploy Giant for bowler giant push. We made a mistake. Should not arrow. Deploy Musketeer to support the push. Deploy Tombstone to pull the golem. Deploy Bowler for graveyard. Deploy Mega Minion for graveyard. Lightning his tower. We did couple of mistakes against this deck, but golem is a strong deck now. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Deploy Bowler at the back. Deploy Musketeer for defense. Lightning his Musketeer, Bowler and Giant. I know, we are against a copycat. Let's see who is better. Deploy Giant at the back. Deploy tombstone for defense. Deploy bowler for giant bowler push. Deploy musketeer for defense. Deploy mega minion for bowler. Deploy giant for tank. Deploy tombstone for defense. Deploy bowler for defense. Lightning musketeer, mega minion and bowler. Deploy musketeer for defense. Deploy giant for tank. Deploy mega minion to join the push. Deploy bowler to join the push. Lightning the tower, musketeer and bowler. Deploy tombstone to pull the giant. Deploy musketeer for defense. Deploy mega minion for defense. Deploy giant for tank. Deploy bowler to join the push. Arrows the skeletons. Deploy tombstone to pull the giant. Deploy musketeer for defense. Deploy giant for bowler giant push. Deploy bowler to join the push. It is never easy to against the same deck. It was a difficult challenge. Deploy bowler at the back. Deploy musketeer for defense. Arrow the minions. Deploy mega minion for defense. Deploy giant for tank. Deploy bowler for defense. Deploy tombstone for defense. Deploy musketeer at the back. Deploy mega minion to join the push. Deploy bowler for defense. Lightning the musketeer, and mega minion and whatever. Arrow the minions. Deploy tombstone for defense. Deploy musketeer for defense. Deploy bowler for defense. Deploy Mega Minion for Baby Dragon. Deploy Giant for Tank. Deploy Tombstone for Defense. Lightning his tower, and whatever. Deploy Bowler for Defense. Arrow the minions. Deploy Musketeer to support the push. Deploy Giant for Tank. Lightning his tower, and whatever. Deploy Mega Minion for Defense. Zap the minions. Deploy Tombstone for Defense. Deploy Bowler at the back. Lightning the tower, Musketeer and Mega Minion. Deploy Musketeer for Defense. Arrow the minions. Deploy Giant for Bowler Giant push. Since he has a locked medium-sized troop, Lightning is very important for winning of this game. Deploy Bowler for Prince. Deploy Tombstone for Defense. Deploy Musketeer for Defense. Deploy Giant for Tank. Deploy Mega Minion for Defense. Zap the skeletons. Deploy Tombstone for Defense. Deploy Bowler for Defense. Deploy Giant for Tank. Deploy Mega Minion for Defense. Lightning Tower, Ice Wizard and Prince. Deploy Musketeer to support the push. Deploy Tombstone for Defense. Deploy Giant at the back. Deploy Bowler for Defense. Lightning Mega Minion, Prince and Golem. Zap the skeletons. Deploy Mega Minion to join the push. Deploy Musketeer to support the push. Deploy Giant at the back. Deploy Tombstone for Prince. Deploy Bowler for Giant Bowler push. Deploy Mega Minion at the back to wait for Golem. Lightning the tower, Ice Wizard and Mega Minion. Deploy Musketeer for defense. Deploy Tombstone for defense. Deploy Bowler for defense. Deploy Giant for Bowler Giant push. Lightning to finish him off. Golem Lightning is not easy to deal with. The technique to win is to stack up with the big troops for counter push. If you like this video, and is interested of knowing how to use or defend a certain deck, please leave your feedback in the comments section.